press is one that comes up often in sewing. And the most important distinction that you need to make when you're talking about pressing something is that pressing is different from ironing. In ironing, if this is your iron, your goal is to smooth out the fabric to remove wrinkles. In pressing, it's a vertical move. It's not a lateral move. It's a vertical move that's intended to remove bulk from your fabric so that when you sew across a seam in a different direction or when a garment hangs on the body, it won't have a lot of lumps and bumps where all of the edges of the fabric was put together. So when we're pressing, we're going to use our iron. You can move it in a lateral motion, but again, the goal is not to smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. So I'm not doing this. I'm using my iron to press my seams in place. Now the seams that I'm pressing here with lots and lots of steam are on a piece of quilting. These are all strips that have been sewn together for quilting. So I've pressed my seam allowances to the side. You notice that my seam allowances are together and they're pressed in the same direction. This is very common in a lot of quilting. But in garment sewing and a lot of other quilting, you'll see people ask you to press your seam allowances open. Super common instruction to get. And to do that, you'll take your finger or your fingernail and place it between your two seam allowances. See that? I've got fabric A here and fabric B there, and I've opened them up. And I'm going to hold them open and then use the nose of my iron to press those seam allowances open like wings of a butterfly all the way across. And again, I'm moving in the direction of the seam as I press my seam allowances open. I'm not rubbing it around. I'm using the weight of the iron and just a hair of elbow grease to press my seam allowances open so everything's nice and flat. On a piece of quilting patchwork like this, and very often on a garment, I will also, after I press a seam allowance open, go back from the public side of my sewing and press again. And in this case, you can do a little more of an ironing action, but you want to use a little bit of elbow grease to press, 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 get everything nice and smooth and flat so that when you put the next piece of fabric down or when you wear your garment, it looks the way you want it to look.